Hello, everyone. My name is Sara Niksic, but I'm also known as Inner Child. That's the name I gave to my project. I launched this beginning of this year. And I'm a scientist, but I'm also an artist, and I do lots of science communication. So I thought I'd give you like a brief overview of these different worlds I'm in. So a bit of science I do, and a bit of science communication I do, and how music fits into all of that. So as a scientist, I worked with several universities back home in Croatia, in Scotland, Australia, New Zealand, on a number of research projects, which were mostly in the fields of marine biology, animal communication, animal behavior, and bioacoustics. And I'm especially interested in animal vocal communication, their social learning, and animal culture. Lots of people don't know they have culture, but more and more scientists agree that actually animals do have culture. It just depends on the definition you use. But if you use it in a broad way, in which that's socially learned and shared traits, then definitely some species of animals also have culture. Most of my research so far was on marine mammals. I work with whales, dolphins, seals, and also all over the world. I did projects in UK, Australia, New Zealand. And I'm currently doing a PhD on humpback whale song, which I'm doing at the University of St Andrews in Scotland. As an artist, my biggest passion is music. I finished music school where I was trained in classical piano and music theory. But lately, not lately, for many years now, I've been active in electronic music world or scene. So I worked on various music festivals, also in many different continents. And I also produce electronic music. So how do these two things come together? As I said, I did many research projects, and I believe that my research is very valuable, but I also think that communicating what I do is also extremely important. And in my opinion, this whole science communication could be done much better than it usually is. Of course, there are many people who do it in a really cool way, but also there are lots of scientists, no matter how amazing they are, even doing groundbreaking research, but they kind of struggle with presenting that science in a digestible and interesting way to the non-scientific community. So I'm trying to develop innovative ways of science communication, which will get people excited and engage them in such a way they want to learn more. So for the last, already now a decade, I've been trying out different approaches, from lectures to workshops and everything else. And I found out that art for me works best for getting people's attention and interest in science. I understand that I can just look at art in just purely artistic way, science purely as a science way, but I also think it makes this amazing combination. And because both of these things require creativity. So as a scientist, I think you really need to have a creative mind, because that's how you get to new ideas, new theories, new hypotheses. If you only think in a way everyone else before you has thought, you will never find out anything new. And again, as artists, of course, you need to be creative to create all that art. So I think that's why I'm kind of half scientist, half artist, because my brain is creative enough in both areas. So since I work with sound, so I do bioacoustics, so I study animal sounds, and I also work with sound as a musician, it kind of came naturally to combine these two things, and it's kind of actually combining my two worlds. And that's how this Inner Child project was born. So today I thought I'd give you a brief introduction to the research I do, so you have a bit of science background, and then talk a bit more about how I use music to communicate this science. Okay. So humpback whales, they're the species I currently study for my PhD. And they belong to cetaceans, so the only family of mammals that spends their entire lives in the ocean. And because of that, they evolved specific adaptations at the anatomical and physiological level, but also as advanced behavioral traits that allow them to survive in this extreme environment. For example, light doesn't travel or transmit far in the ocean, so their vision is very limited, but sound travels more than 4 times faster than through air. And that's why likely they evolved extremely good hearing, as well as extremely advanced communication systems. And humpback whale communication, they use different sounds for different things. So they use social sounds, which both males and females produce, but they also sing songs which are sung exclusively by males. And these songs are so complex and whoa, I mean, I wouldn't be able to remember all these songs. They can last for like 15 minutes or more, and they have perfect structure. And first time scientists recorded them, they didn't know what do these sounds belong to. And then in 1971, there was this paper that came out in Science, which was the first time somebody has described the sounds and said they actually belong to the whales. And for these scientists, it reminded them actually of birdsong, although birdsong is much, much shorter. So that's why they use some terminology that's used to describe birdsong. And this is what one of the lead scientists said about humpback whale song, which I agree with, because this sounds really like from another world. And in this paper in Science, I'll show you a little graphical presentation of the song so you understand song structure. So it's a hierarchical structure, which means that it has different hierarchical levels. So the smallest element of a song is called a unit, and that's a sound that to our ears sounds continuous, so like the shortest sound divided by 2 silences. If you slow up the song, you will see some of these units are made out of subunits, but if you listen to it at a normal speed, you will hear units. And then these units, they are organized in a specific sequence to make a phrase, and then phrases are repeated to make a theme. Several themes arranged in a specific pattern make up a song. And humpback whales often repeat these songs in song sessions, which means they repeat them from once they finish, they start singing again and again. And sometimes this can go on for hours. Once one whale was even reported singing 24 hours with no stopping. Yeah. But why do these whales sing? Even after decades of research, this remains unclear. There have been several theories, but since only male humpbacks sing, sexual selection is a leading hypothesis. Although exact function or functions are still unknown. So is the song primarily directed to females, so intersexual function, or to other males, so they fight among themselves with the songs? Or maybe song functions as a multi-message signal. So that is still unclear. Hopefully in the future we will get a better understanding of this. But that doesn't end there. There is so much more interesting things about humpback whale songs. For example, geographic variation. So each population of whales, so whales that live in a certain area, they have their own song type. But also that song type evolves over time. So the song changes, but every whale keeps up with this change. So at any given time, every whale in that same population will sing exactly the same version of a song. So, and whales that live in different regions geographically, they sing different songs. But some populations that live in the same ocean, they might share some similarities between their songs, but whales that live really far away, that are never in contact, they sing completely different songs. And another thing scientists discovered is that sometimes these populations share these songs between each other. So sometimes one population will take over a song from another population, which is very unusual for animals. And there have been few studies that looked into this, and I will show you some graphs from there. Oh yeah, okay. So on the left, you see song, this graph represents songs that were recorded at the east coast of Australia. So in 1995, all whales there sang this old version of a song, which is now here represented in yellow color. So all the whales singing their song. But then in the next 2 years, some of them started singing different songs. And in 2 years' time, the entire population swapped to a completely new song, which was actually the same song that whales in the west coast of Australia were singing. So East Coast took over the song from the West Coast, and nobody knows why. And this kind of change was so revolutionary, like ditching completely their own song and to take over a song from another population, was never seen in animal kingdom. So they call it cultural revolution instead of slow evolution. So slow progressive change, this was a complete revolution. And a few years after that study, there was another one also in the waters of Australia, and then some other islands in the Pacific. And they tracked the songs. So from east coast of Australia, whales in New Caledonia took over the song. Then that song went to Tonga, to American Samoa, Cook Islands, French Polynesia. So it was a cultural transmission that went throughout the whole ocean. And that kind of change on such a vast geographic area is exceptional among animals. So yeah, I'm still amazed about this. Every time I hear these songs, I'm whoa. But there is lots of things that are still unknown and that we're still trying to research. So for example, there are some questions like how whales learn these songs, and also how and why do these songs change? We also don't know that. And again, how age influences this song learning and production. So for example, maybe the younger whales are the ones that are still training themselves and kind of make lots of mistakes in songs. So maybe that's why songs change. Or maybe it's the young ones just copy other whales in their population, and the older guys are the ones that want to add something new to these songs. So maybe that's why the songs evolve. Anyway, these questions are still unknown, and that's what I'm doing a PhD on. So the title of my PhD is Humpback Whale Song Ontogeny, Evolution and Vocal Learning. I'm right now on my first year, so hopefully in 4 years, I can answer some of these questions, or at least, add something to the understanding of the function of a humpback whale song and why it evolves and how does it all happen. So that's a very brief science background. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, this is what you see on the background of my slides. That's actually how a humpback whale song looks like. If you look at it.
Oh, I see at the bottom, right?
Yeah, at the bottom. So that is a spectrogram, so a visual representation of a sound. So you can see, if you look at the x-axis, it's frequency, and this is time. So you can see if it goes up and down, you can imagine how that would sound. So that's how, when we analyze these songs, we look at them and we listen to them, and then you can see if there are certain patterns. For example, here you can see these are all phrases that repeat a certain number of times, and that's one theme. And then after that, there goes another theme with different arrangement of different sounds. Yeah.
So
Sorry?
one question I have, you and I briefly spoke about this when we talked last week, was just how complicated, and you briefly mentioned it, but you said it's significantly more complicated than the vocals of like birds or even just human beings, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk just a couple minutes about just how complicated these vocals really are?
Yeah, well, first of all, if you listen, before we started the researching whale songs, the best example was bird song. And although they also have some kind of patterns in their songs, these are not, this evolved, and the entire song maybe lasts, it's measured in seconds, not in minutes. So some birds have also some kind of geographic dialects, to call them that way. But again, it's not this advanced. It doesn't have this structure, different themes and phrases. Just like the level and complexity of it, you can't even compare it. And the fact that in Wales, there are different populations singing completely different songs. And then in a matter of like one season, they swapped to this other really complicated song, like 15, 20 minutes of song. They somehow managed to memorize. And we really don't know how. That's why I'm going to try to see with this vocal learning how they learn, because vocal learning means you learn by hearing others. But still, I mean, that requires lots of memory to even remember all of that. Yeah.
And then the other thing is, from our collaboration, some of the people that they've asked, access to the whale songs in the database, please. And so I put the links actually to your SoundCloud and also your album that has each of these items on there. Helen Arney says, this is absolutely fascinating. But a lot of people, even my high school kids, they literally said that sounds so interesting. And so I think the idea of just, sort of highlighting this idea that it's not always just about science, but it's necessary, like you can value different components of it individually and also how they complement each other. And I think you started off with that, saying that you were an artist and how, that definitely was your motivation to start this particular journey, correct?
Yeah.
That's great. As a fellow doctoral student, I can totally relate with you with the idea of research and being in that in-between spot where you're trying to, find your way. And I'm certain you will someday. And I think that your journey is going to be absolutely profound. Do you want to say anything else about the communication aspect of it and how you were going to talk about with respect to humans and things like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this was just like the science background, so people get the idea of that. And now for the second part, I thought to talk more about this project which combines science and arts. So this inner child project. So I can wait a minute, just a second. Okay. So while I'm doing this as my PhD, this inner child project is something I'm doing completely out of that. So just because I think it's important to share all this science outside of academia. And this is a short part of this, like about this project I wrote. You can see on all these links I have on the last slide from my Facebook page and all the SoundCloud and Bandcamp. So I wrote like how I came to this idea and why I called it inner child. And so I called it inner child because I believe that both scientists and artists are like kids that never grew up, or something that is within each one of us. But sometimes when people go on with their lives, they kind of forget the things that they were really interested in as children. So every child is always asking why this, why that. They're interested in everything around them. And also every child is an artist. And sometimes when you grow up, we kind of forget these passions. So through this project, I'm actually talking to the inner children in all the people, because that's something that I think is common to all the people. So it can be used to talk to actual kids, but also to grown-ups. That's how I find they find it more interesting than if I just, you know, talk in this scientific way, you know, writing reports and that. I just want to, you know, bring out this natural curiosity that is in each one of us. And this is a quote from my favorite book, actually, which is A Little Prince, that says, "All grown-ups were once children, but only few of them remember it." So yeah, that was the idea about this project, and the way of education or of science communication is that it needs to be something that actually sparkles this interest in people, so they want to learn more. And that's how I came to this idea to put music there, because if music talks to people, and especially if there are some sounds that they never heard before, then people ask themselves, "Oh, what is this?" And then they want to learn about it and read about it. So my way of doing it was first, you know, get people interested, and then now I get people asking me about whales and about science, but that's all started just by hearing these things. So I have a few videos I made. I thought I can maybe show you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, cool. So the first one I did with the help of my friend, who is a graphical artist, so she knows better about presenting all of that visually. I made actually music for it, and I wrote all the science facts. So the first video is just a brief introduction to Humpback whale song, which is yeah, just mostly what I talked about so far, but in brief. So yeah, let's just play it. Hopefully you will hear it well.
Sounds good. That was super cool. In some ways, it reminds me of Chris Johnson's talk yesterday, who was talking about delta phone. And he was actually programming different pieces of notes and then making phrases. So he's an engineer by trade, and he wasn't obviously using whale vocals, but he was using notes. But it was a similar concept about how the units build upon to make a phrase and then to make a theme and so on, and like a song. That was great.
Cool. I'm sorry I missed that. I will look it up later.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's all right. I actually think you might find his work kind of interesting.
Okay, I'll definitely have a look. Yeah, so what else? Yes, so this is just like a first video we made to just give like a basic of the science behind this. And I made this one song that you heard part of it. But then I thought, why not involve more people? Because from years of working in these music festivals, I met lots of artists and music producers, and they always kept asking me to give them samples, whale sounds. And finally I got around to that. And because usually when we record whales, it's only for scientific use, but also if it's used for education, then I got permission to use it to make this album and to share it with some artists, which were all interested in being a part of it. And so I gathered a crazy lineup of musicians, like one of the really top musicians in this kind of electronic music underground scene. I have artists from New Zealand through Russia, Italy, UK, States. So I send each one of them, I send this whale recording. I worked on when I did my master's thesis, I also did it on a whale song. So I sent them this whale recording, and each of them, and of course I bugged them with all the science behind it. So I explained to them all of this that you now heard about what we know so far about whale song. I gave them about the structure of it. So, and then they started asking more and more questions, and each artist made their own unique representation of a whale song. And I thought the idea behind this album was that each artist's track represents one theme of a whale song. So just how whales have their song, which has several themes that make it, I thought each artist can make one theme, and altogether this album can be represents an actual whale song with this structure. Of course, each artist has their own musical style. So these songs range from more kind of ambient, down tempo. There is even a like psy bass. There is even like one deep techno track. So first I was like, oh, whoa, there's lots of variety. But then in the end I thought, but that's cool because people like different genres of music as well. So it will talk to different audience. And the whale sound is something that combines all of it. So that was the idea behind it. And that was a process to make it all happen, because just like communicating with all these people all over the world and like trying to manage all of that and working with this graphic artist to make cover art and these few videos to explain and to promote this album. That was quite a big project. I wasn't aware it will take up, it will record that much of input, but I'm so happy how it turned out in the end. So
it is very cool. I have listened to it, and that's why we put it up at the beginning of the conference. It is super cool.
Thank you. So I can play you a couple of more videos, which are really short, like less than a minute, which we made as promo videos for this compilation. So first one just like gives like concept behind it, and the second one is more of like a proper promo video with names of artists, and both have music from the album. Just see, this one stopped. Just see if maybe a bit less. So that was the first one. Like we made it about a month before the release, and then there is a second one, and that was just before album was released. Just a second.
That's super cool.
Last video, my friend Fabi, she did the videos. She's a graphical artist, and I'm so lucky to have her as a friend, because without her, I don't know how will I do all the graphics behind this. We met once. I went to Italy to meet with her. We spent a few days together. I was just like brainstorming, telling her all my ideas, and she was like drawing it all. And yeah, she did a big part of the work, and of course all the musicians. I mean, they have been doing this for years. They're really, really good. But again, it was for them, it was something new, a bit of a different concept.
Oh yeah.
Of course,
sounds like all of your hard work paid off, though. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful to all of them, because they all did it. They just like donated their time, because it was just they wanted to be part of it, and they believed in why I'm doing this. So yeah, but I know they're all really busy. They get like drawn over the world to perform and work on all sorts of projects. So I'm really lucky they all wanted to work on this big collaboration with me. Yeah, so thanks to all of them, it wouldn't be this good. If I just did whole music, I just started with all this music production, so it probably wouldn't sound that good. One track is mine, number 7, but the others are from others. So yeah. Oh yeah, this is just a short, also like a part of the cover text. You can read all about it in more detail on these pages where I released the album through. Yeah, so that's the idea behind it. And also this is the cover art. So yeah, of course, there was also science behind this, because when my friend was drawing a whale, of course you can draw a whale jumping or I don't know what, or swimming, but I was like, no, when the whale sings, it takes this position with the head slightly down and the tail up, because that's how sound propagates best through the ocean. So like each part of this has an actual proper science behind it. And also this track list, we actually agreed to call all the tracks by themes. We were thinking, should the artists name their songs? But I thought this will better like represent this concept of the album actually being having a structure of the actual whale song.
Yeah, I think that's pretty creative.
Yeah. And of course, I had to add there is a featuring Humpback whale of vocals, because he's the biggest star of the compilation.
Yeah, oh, definitely, definitely. And so, like, how can others get involved with your cause? Like, either, you know, for the idea of communicating the CD, or just like collaborating with you for research?
Well, as depends, because research-wise, because I'm a part of this university, I work for the university. I have already my supervisors, and we have collaborators. We collaborate. So, like my study site is actually New Caledonia, so I go record the whales there because I study the population there. So we already have collaborators there. But I don't know. I was thinking maybe to do more of like involving public engagements, kind of thing. So maybe I will need some help when I'm actually analyzing songs to see what other people, how would they divide them, you know, would they see the same patterns as I do?
Okay.
But I don't know. For now, research-wise, yeah, there is already like a team that's doing all of that. But I guess more in like this kind of a science communication way. I mean, I do want to do more of these projects. I already have ideas for a second compilation after this one was out. I didn't expect it will go that far. Like I got messages from all over the world, from musicians that heard it and that want to work with me for like another project, or even from, you know, record label managers, organizers, promoters. I've been
wow, that's
already
great.
invited to talk both in like music festivals to give workshops, and in like actual science conferences. Now there is a conference in December. It's a World Marine Mammal Conference, and most people there will talk about science. But there is also this workshop on science communication through arts. So I'm invited to talk there. So I'm really, happy and amazed how it got really well accepted, both in the science and art world, and, you know, general public. So I don't know, I guess, yeah, I'm definitely open to any new ideas or collaborations, or if people, you know, I mean, I still need help with kind of promotion, because I'm pretty bad of this self-promoting thing, and everybody tells me it's great what you do, but what's the point if nobody knows about it?
Yeah, so you're kind of looking to get in contact with some science communicators, is that correct?
Yeah, science communicators, or yeah, just people that will, you know, share this, that know it better than me about all this, you know, more promotion and like sharing this and getting it more out there. But yeah, people that are interested in doing these kind of things, I'm definitely up for collaborating with them. So.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Is anything, go ahead.
No, I just said I put, wait, here are just, if you want to contact me, you can do it through, this is my email and my Twitter. And up I just put these links to my Bandcamp. If you like the album, you can download it from there. And also SoundCloud, YouTube, and this Facebook page I use for like science communication. So you will see like posts if I'm presenting somewhere, or just like news from the field, what's happening, did we record whales? So you can follow it all there, or if you're just gonna get in touch, you can do it through email or Twitter. So
yeah, so John Chase, who actually is a science communicator in England, he's actually on right now, and he said that he's in.
Ah, cool.
He's the guy who wrote our rap yesterday. So I think you have some pretty cool people that are interested in your work, and they're kind of close to you. I mean, maybe not super close, but a lot closer than where I am.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I'd like to connect with more people in UK. I mean, I just moved there not even a year ago. So yeah, it would be cool to meet with some people that are actually close, at least I mean in UK.
Yeah, Bob and I are gonna, by the end of the day today, hopefully try to set up a collaboration space so that I'll try to pinpoint like you with the science communicator to make contact, and somebody else, you know, sort of like me playing matchmaker. So I think getting to know each person, it's definitely been kind of neat to see what they're interested in collaborating on. And I think that'll set you up pretty well.
Okay, well, thank you. And feel free to contact me or anyone else who, thinks we can kind of do stuff together.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'll be pretty busy with the PhD because that's like proper hardcore science work. But,
yeah, I know. Unfortunately, I do.
Yeah, you do. So next 4 years is going to be crazy busy, but
well worth it.
I really want to do also this thing. So hopefully I'll find time for not just PhD.
Yeah, you have to have a little recreation in there too. Do you want to take us home with your final playlist here? Sorry? Do you have one more song to play?
Yeah, I was thinking actually that's actually on this slide, the previous one. I just popped my song so you can see how it all started, because Good. My song, while other musicians, they know more about manipulating sound, so they use the sounds of whales to create certain sounds and synthesizers. My idea was just to leave the whale song as it is, so people can hear how whale actual sounds without any modulations. And then I build the music around it. So actually my track is the one that you can hear the whale most. So I thought I can just play that one.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Definitely listen to all the album. These other ones are, whoa, amazing. I'm still listen to it every day, and every time I'm like, oh my God, we did this.
Yeah, it's quite an accomplishment. It must feel absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
So, okay, I'll play it, and then if you need to stop me and switch to something else, feel free.
Okay.
Just a second, how do I start this? Okay, here.
So this one's yours?
Yeah.
I like this one. I think this one's my favorite, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you.
Are those the whales, the high pitch? Are they the whales too?
Yeah,
Wow.
all of that's whales. But this one as well.
That's definitely awesome. You did a really good job. So you have a couple of comments here. Some people are interested in collaborating with you, John, and I think it might be Lisbeth, who is actually a musician. So she's interested. I think that's who that is. And Rishi, who's also a science guy, he's interested too. So definitely fun people to meet, I'll tell you.
Tell them to send me a message because I can't see the chat right now.
That's awesome. Thank you. We appreciate your time.
Okay, maybe I'll stop it here because I don't hear you. Well.
Wow, that's amazing. I can't believe you
yeah,
put that to music. You really like made a real like world-class project, like going all over the place. That's pretty neat.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. And thank you for joining us today. Sara was sort of like a last minute person, but definitely you fit into the group. And I think your work is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you. And thanks for inviting me. And I'm really happy to see, all the people doing all sorts of amazing things.
Yeah, we're trying to make a collaboration, and you're definitely a good part to it. So thanks for coming today. We really appreciate it. And are you in Croatia or are you in Scotland? Where are you today?
Yeah, at the moment I'm in Croatia and I fly to Scotland in a day. So I'll be in Scotland in 2 days. But I'm back home now. I just was here for a little bit.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. Definitely very cool. We'll keep playing your CD.
Thank you. Yeah, show it to people.
We will. Actually, I showed it to my high school kids the other day and they were like, those are all the whales? And I said, I think so. Yeah, but we'll definitely check it out. So thank you for your, obviously, like, I know you're also trying to promote marine wildlife and conservation too. So we'll definitely try to get that message across and put you on our Twitter page.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just thought to like just bringing this kind of even sounds and this talk behind and about, all the communication and culture, so people start understanding there are other species other than us that are also really intelligent.
Yeah.
And do all these amazing things. So hopefully that message will get across.
Oh, I think it has. It's pretty complicated. Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, well, thank you.